guys, Tahita here with Beauty and the Kinks. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about the content creator side of things. I am so excited because we're going to be talking about a subject that I'm super passionate about, which is getting paid. So I want to first introduce myself for those of you who don't know. Like I said, my name is Tahita. I have been blogging and creating content for about 8 years now. And I'm also a compliance analyst. That's my 9 to 5. But today's video, we're really going to be talking about how I estimate my value so that I can ensure that the collaborations and the opportunities that I get are worth it for me. So let's dive into what we're supposed to be charging and why it's important to get paid, even as a smaller influencer. All right, so like I mentioned, I've been doing this for about 8 years, but I'm being transparent here. I have not been as consistent as I needed to be in order to create a larger following, an engaging following. So because of my inconsistency, I have not grown to be like this major influencer or content creator. However, the quality of my work, the quality of my content has definitely increased and gotten better over the years. So I am able to pitch myself to these brands and companies and say, hey, look at what I'm capable of doing. Look at this material that you can repurpose. And with that being said, here are my rates for what I'm creating. Because at the end of the day, even though you may not have the most engaging following or the largest following, if you are creating quality work, you're still putting in time, sweat, and tears into what you're doing, and you deserve to be paid for that. So first thing I want to get out the way is just to let you know that if you are an aspiring influencer, an aspiring content creator, do not get caught up in the fact that you don't have a large following and think that by any means that means that you're not supposed to be paid for your work. Okay, you're putting in the time, you're putting in your skill set, you're using your skill set and using your talents to create wonderful content. You deserve to get paid for that. Okay, so another transparency moment. With that being said, that does not mean that every single collaboration that you may get or every opportunity that you may get needs to be paid, right? I'm not saying that at all. So for my own brand, I will participate in a gifted campaign if it is a mom and pop or smaller business where I know they're just starting out, and here's really the key, and it has to be something that I'm genuinely interested in and genuinely want to try, and it is of value to me. So if they're sending me a product that, you know, I'm like, oh, I wanted to try that, and they're not giving me a lot of deliverable requirements, then I will work with them for that gift, for the, you know, gift to post. But that is, again, that is just because I am still a smaller influencer. I'm still a smaller content creator, and I know that the brand may not have it in their budget to spend a lot on what I would have on my rate sheets, right? So I just want to establish that. I want to let you guys know that this video is not encouraging you to just get paid out the bat, no experience. It's really encouraging you to look at your content that you're creating, assess the quality that you provide, and put a value on that. That is what this video is about. Also, if you see me looking down, it's because I have my iPad and I have my notes here, so yeah. Okay, so let me give you guys the example that sparked this video, the example that pushed me to say, you know what, I need to share my experience and tell all these aspiring content creators and influencers why it's important to evaluate what you're receiving and what you're going to be giving, and learn when to say no and learn when to send a rate sheet. And of course, in order to have a rate sheet, you would have had to estimate the value of the work that you're providing, right? So a few weeks ago, probably about a month ago at this point, I received an email proposal for a collaboration, and y'all, I ain't gonna lie, I was geeked. I was geeked because it was a spa, and I was like, ooh, T, you about to be pampered and paid. Like you are, you know, you getting into that content creator bag, you know, luxury lifestyle, soft girl lifestyle. Yes. And then I looked at the email in detail and realized there was nothing on there about me getting paid. It was I guess a gifted campaign, if you want to call it that. But they were basically gifting me a service in order to create content for their spa. And first of all, I live 40 minutes away from the facility. This was going to be a one-time service. Now, I've worked with a company before where they've given me like 8 months worth of services in order for me to create content for them. Again, an example of me really genuinely being interested in the service and wanting the service. And y'all, what they were charging for that 8-month service would have been way over what I charge on my rate sheet. So they were actually definitely paying me through the product that I was creating content about, right? Or I should say the service that I was creating content about. So it was definitely of value. It was actually worth more, like I said, more than what I would be charging them. So I signed up for it. That was, like I said, an 8-month type of deal. This would have been one service. So it would have been a value of anywhere between $60 to $120. And I had to drive there. That's 40 minutes going, 40 minutes getting back home. They wanted me to post at least 3 stories, post a static post, an in-feed static post. I was supposed to repost their links, and I was supposed to create video content, Reel or YouTube. So, and I had a 7-day deadline from the time of the service to create the static posts and the reels. And then I had a 14-day deadline from the time of the service in order to create the video content. I estimated the amount of work that I would be doing, including the time for me to drive there, the service, the editing, all that good stuff. I estimated that to be anywhere between 6 to 8 hours that I would be putting in. 6 to 8 hours of work for a $60 facial, that's a hard no for me. It was definitely a hard no for me. So, and it kind of got me pissed off a little bit because I'm like, brands don't look at that aspect of it. Brands don't look at the lives of a creator. So I'm literally taking 6 to 8 hours of my life to get one facial from you, one spa service from you. That's like, how is that comparable? And I don't care if I only have, I think right now I have maybe 4,400 Instagram followers, maybe 3,400 YouTube subscribers. I don't care. The quality of my work, my camera alone is close to $5,000. If you add the lens, it's close to $6,000. And you want to give me a facial for 8 hours of no. So it just got me to thinking, there's a lot of influencers. I know for sure when I started out, I was accepting a whole lot of free collaborations or gifted collaborations. And now that I look back at it, now that I look at some of the quality of the work that I put out, I'm like, why? Like, no, we need to get this out there and let people know that you could still get paid even though you don't have a great following. So just wanted to give you guys the example of why I think it's important to know what your value is and how to move about getting those paid opportunities and declining the gifted opportunities that serve no value to you. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys an example of what a rate sheet is. It is a document that basically lays out what I am charging as a content creator for the content that I will be creating for you, the brand, right? So in order to create a rate sheet, you have to know what the value of your services are. So you have to break down what a static post in your Instagram feed will look like, what a YouTube video, how much you're gonna charge for a YouTube video. You have to break down those figures. So for me, what I do, like I said, I do work a 9 to 5. I'm a compliance analyst. What I do is I take that salary that I get every year, I break it down and do my division and all that stuff until I get to my hourly rate. Once I have my hourly rate, I will tack on a percentage for my camera because, like I said, I have expensive equipment. I do pay for editing software. So, you know, those are things that I keep in mind. If I do have to travel, that's going to be a travel fee. So all of this I keep in mind, especially I give myself I give myself a little extra on top of the hourly rate. And what I will do is I will use a very, very low example, because one, I'm bad with math, I'm gonna be real with y'all. So if I keep it simple, I should be able to do these calculations, right? So let's start off and say that you are working for a company and you get paid $12 an hour, which is really freaking low, especially in Chicago. But let's use $12 as our starting point. Your base rate starts at 12, but then you want to factor in the fact that you have really good equipment, you've invested in your camera, you've invested in your editing software, and you want to add on a small percentage for the fact that if you are doing services, you know, that's already calculated in your rate. So let's say $10. So let's say 10% for your camera equipment, 10% for your software that you pay for, or that you paid for, and then 5% for the potential travel or deadline that you might have to meet, right? Let's factor that in. So the $12 plus the additional 25% that you'll be charging, you have now established that your hourly rate is $15. The $15 is now, in my opinion, what I do is I create a range. So the $15 is going to be your base. What I do is I calculate the amount of time that it typically takes me to create a photo for my static post, my in-feed post. I will put on my rate sheet that a static in-feed post could cost them anywhere from $30 to, 2 hours if it's something small and they're not too particular, they're not trying to approve it, I just have to post it. $30 to $75 if they are very finicky about their deliverables. They have different things that I need to do. I need to be wearing a certain color. I need to put it up by this time. Like, I calculate my rate based on the potential of basically how long it's going to take me to create the photo. And then the range could cover any additional deliverable requirements that the brand may have that could increase the hours that I'm putting into this project. And the same will go for the video. So if I'm creating a video, I will calculate the amount of time that it takes me to create a video, edit a video, and all that good stuff. Whether it be a reel or a YouTube video or a story, I will calculate how much time it's going to take to create the video based on their deliverable requirements. As you know, sometimes a brand will say, hey, just say that we're sponsoring this video. All we need is a small shout out at the beginning of the video or in the video, and then they'll pay you for that. So if that's not taking up a lot of the time, you don't have to charge them the higher price at the end of the range, right? But yeah, again, all up to you. I'm just giving you an example of how I base my rates. And again, using the $12 minimum as a hypothetical. By no means am I charging people $15 an hour for the work that I create. So creating a rate sheet, this is the important. So it's one thing to know your value and establish your prices per project. Another important thing when establishing your value is also knowing that these brands may try to license the usage of the content that you create. You need to, in my opinion, you need to have a set, either a flat rate or a percentage that you're gonna charge if they do want to license your content. What this means is that they can take your picture and they could post it wherever they want and they could use it in any way that they want. I have heard of stories where creators have gotten into a contract, into a collaboration with a brand. They did not ask her to license the content and she ended up in like Target or somewhere and sued them because they did not have the right to reuse her photo in any other aspect outside of what was originally agreed upon, like Instagram. Definitely something important to keep in mind. So it's also important to create a reference sheet, like a rate sheet, something that you can send to a brand so that they can see what you charge per project. The reason for this is that sometimes brands don't realize that you are setting a standard for yourself, and they will try to get you to do free work. They will. So when you have a brand reaching out, especially these brands that you know have a budget for marketing, you definitely want to send them back a reply and say, hey, thank you so much for the consideration. While I would love working with your company, I'm not able to commit to any unpaid collaborations at this time. Please keep me in mind if your company does have a budget. I have attached my rate sheet for future reference. Something as simple as that. That way they can say, okay, all right, she wants us to pay her. We like her work. Clearly we reached out for a reason. So what's going to happen is if they do have a budget and if they're that interested in your work, they're going to go and try to negotiate with you. They'll say, hey, you know what? We can offer you this if you do this for us. And sometimes they just won't have it in their budget, right? Sometimes they'll be like, sorry, thank you, or they won't even reply because like, how dare you value your own work, right? I've had that happen, that's why I know. So it's very important that you do have a rate sheet so that you can not only, one, professionally decline an offer, and then, by telling them that you appreciate the consideration and showing your rates for future reference, but two, potentially create an opportunity to get paid from something that would have been free work, right? So definitely create your rate sheet. I will have a copy or an example of mine so that you guys could see what it looks like. I created this in Canva. If you guys want like a detailed video on how I created this, definitely let me know. And if you want, I'll create a how to create a rate sheet video, but this is just an example. I'm sure if you go to Canva, you can create your own. And I know that also like on Etsy and different places, they have templates available for you to use as well. All right, so now that we've discussed estimating your value and making sure that you have a rate sheet so that you can work professionally on a professional level with these companies, it's also definitely important to know that once you get a paid opportunity, they might turn around and ask you for an invoice. And if you are not familiar with an invoice, it's basically just a bill that you're sending to the company to let them know this is what you're expecting to be paid now that the services have been rendered. So a lot of people might not have access to invoicing software. So the best thing to do, and what I do, is use PayPal. If you don't have PayPal and you are an aspiring influencer content creator, I definitely highly recommend that you get PayPal. One, it's a means for people to pay you. And two, they are very good, one, as far as tracking for taxing situations. And then two, you can actually create an invoice using PayPal. So highly recommend. Just a tip for when you are getting these paid collaborations. So while I'm here encouraging you to, estimate your value, create a rate sheet, and prepare yourself for these paid opportunities, I also want to give you the reality of it, right? Not all of these companies will pay you right away. I don't want you to get super excited that you finally landed your paid gig and then they're like, net 60, net 30. And what that means is like, if it's net 60, they're not gonna pay you out for 2 months since you've created the content, or they're not gonna pay you out for a month, 30 days. So net 60, 60 days, net 30, 30 days. So have that expectation. Now I do know of a company, Willa, I believe is their name, and I'll try to link them down below. I do know that they offer services where they pay you upfront for the collaboration, and then they will wait the period to get paid whether it's 30 days or 60 days, they'll take the hit for you and they'll pay you out right away. So I have not personally used them. I know I have been invited to use their services. I have not taken that opportunity yet, but I've heard good things, and that is an option if you want to look into it. So I hope that this was helpful. Again, this is something that I'm super passionate about, especially coming from a small content creator. I know that there are brands out there who will pay you. I am a living testimony to that. I've been paid for modeling services. I've been paid to review products. I have been paid, to create content simply for the brand to repurpose. I have also I've been asked to use my content on Sephora.com for a particular company, right? They actually reached out to me and said, hey, we like what you did with this product. Can we use this on Sephora.com? So my content was actually featured on Sephora.com based on the agreement that I had with that company. So it's possible. This is all because I'm under 5K on both of the major platforms that I use, Instagram and YouTube. So definitely keep your head up, put some value on your work, and let's get paid. If you have any questions, any comments, definitely leave them down below for me. Please do not forget to hit that subscribe button if you found this helpful in any way, and also give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Definitely appreciate you guys for watching the video all the way through. Thank you and much love to you. Until next video. Bye guys.